The time is 6:04. We're gonna go ahead and start. We will have a couple board members coming in late, so um, I'll let you know at the time when they come in. We'll go ahead and start with roll call.
Oscar Morones.
Anita Franco.
Michael Uriegas.
We have a quorum. Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. Thank you.
All right, thanks, sir. Good to go.
Thank you. Item 4, public comment. Where's Roxy? This one. Okay. 3 minutes. We do have one. Okay, Jeffrey Ortiz came in at 6:05. Okay. Okay, do I read this? Okay. At regular board meetings, the board shall permit the public comment on any topic. At all of the board meetings, public comments will be limited to items on the agenda posted with the notice of the meeting. All public comments are limited to 3 minutes.
Thank
I'll
you.
start the time and then you may begin.
Board members,
Let's see.
Madam President, Superintendent Pearson, thank you for allowing to be here. It's been a while since I've been to a school board meeting. I've worked for the school district a good number of years, but I still enjoy what you're doing and how you take care of the kids and the district in the whole. My concern right now is the limited hours of our bus driving. The school district has 3 retirees, TRS retirees, and I've noticed at the end of last year and the start of this year, we're getting limited trips and limited routes that we're doing. How we figure the hours for a TRS retiree is the number of days in a month. Every month has at least 22 times 4. 4 is half a day's work, is 88 hours per month allowable. Some days have 23 up to 92. What I've noticed that we're getting one trip, couple of routes, and we wind up with 30 or 40 hours for the month. We're not being utilized to the best of the district. We have at least 2 other people that are non-retirees, and they come in and do their hours, but they're also complaining about not getting enough hours on the field trips. That's my concern. I'll bring it out, and I won't mention their names. We do have full-time employees that are used for field trips, routes, whatnot, that's available to the district. We're going to cover all the routes. We're going to cover all the field trips, but it seems like there's 3 or 4 full-time employees that are getting more trips than the retirees that's out there. Superintendent Pearson, could you check into this, please? Okay. We're dedicated as can be. We like the kids. We like to drive in. We want to take the kids all over the place to compete. But when you're limited hours, it's hard to come by and cover all your routes and trips. The board is advertising for drivers to come in, but when you only get 10, 12, 15 hours a week, you're not going to find anybody to come off the streets to come in and help us to fill in those slots that are out there. The retirees that we have right now need to be maxed out. Mrs. Garza is the transportation secretary. She's out on leave right now, but she was very strict on the number of hours we could put in a particular month. If we max out at 90, She would cut us off at the 80, 85 to leave a few hours extra so we could cover a route for that particular end of the month. There's a lot of trips. Sometimes we max out in 3 weeks and we have to be cut off. We understand that. We don't want overtime. We just want hours that are kind of designated for us. Let us use those hours on those retirees to the maximum. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Gutierrez. Okay. Next, we have Lone Star Governance. We have the 2024-2025 A through F Accountability Rating Update. And also, well, this is Dr. Rubalcaba.
Good evening, President Franco and school board members. We are excited to share and showcase our 2025 district accountability ratings with you all. So we'll begin with our CSCISD mission to provide every child a quality education in a safe environment, and our vision to inspiring lifelong learners in a safe and supportive environment. So as a quick summary, the purpose of the Texas A through F accountability system is to ensure that school districts and campuses receive an annual performance rating that's determined, the parameters which are determined by TEA. So the metrics that are taken into consideration are really done in order to reflect three main objectives. So rigor for students, fairness for districts and campuses, and transparency for parents and the public. So to calculate our overall ratings, which we will share here shortly, the 70% of our rating will come from the better of achievement or progress. Achievement is defined as what students know and can do, which is determined by our STAR scores. School progress is determined by academic growth, which is also growth in our RLA and math scores, or relative performance, the higher of the two. And our relative performance is our student achievement, taking into consideration our economically disadvantaged percentage at our campuses. The 30% of our rating that comes from closing the gaps is really looking at our subpopulations of students. So looking at our students and ensuring that they are making progress, specifically within the populations of special education, emergent bilingual, foster, McKinney-Vento, etc. And together that will make up our overall grade. So in summary, you'll see our district and campus ratings. So here you will see our 2025 rating as a district, which remained a 69 over the course of 2024 and 2025. If you look at our high school campus, you'll see a decreased rating from a C to a D. However, it is important to note that we have submitted an appeal as of September 12th, because what we found in our calculations is that our CCMR rating was missing 4 students. So with those 4 students, it would actually move the high school to a C, to a 70. The TEA opened up the appeal window because many districts had this same coding error. So we have submitted that, and we'll find out if our appeal was approved in December. Our junior high, no change, remained a B for 24 and 25. Our Carrizo Springs Intermediate showed an improved rating, which is something that we're definitely celebrating, from a D, a 66, to a 71, and our elementary, an improved rating as well. So from a 58 to a 62. So very happy to see that progress at our elementary campuses. So our areas of strength, as I mentioned, both elementary schools increased a letter grade, which is phenomenal work and very difficult to do. So kudos to both of our elementary campuses. Additionally, our junior high, which is our highest rated campus, at an 83 as a B, received 2 distinction designations, which are very hard to achieve. So our junior high received top 25% in comparative academic growth, so showing that growth from our STAR reading and math scores, as well as top 25% in closing the gaps, which is ensuring that our subpopulations of students are meeting those achievement goals. So very, very proud of our junior high campus for receiving those 2 designations as well. Our areas of opportunity are to provide targeted support for our intermediate, elementary, and high school. With that being said, developing a local improvement plan to address areas of needs. Mr. Talamantes has led these efforts, so we do have plans in place for our 3 campuses that fall under this parameter, and really sharing best practices amongst our 4 campuses and amplifying the strength of working collaboratively, excuse me. Okay, that is the accountability presentation. Any questions for me? Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have the National Institute for Excellence in Teaching. Board update.
Thank you, President Franco. That is me again. I'm so excited to give you all a support of the work that we've done up to this point in the school year. So what we would like to showcase in this summary, as you all know, as part of the LASSO grant, we've partnered with the National Institute of Excellence in Teaching. And what that support has looked like thus far has really been a team effort in strengthening our instructional practices, aligning curriculum and instruction, building leadership capacity. Our administrators, curriculum specialists have had to put in a lot of work in learning the product with our teachers. So it's been really nice to see how the alignment with learning the product and the systems that we have in place. And the 4th point being developing sustainable systems. So the work that we've been doing in partnership with a technical assistance provider is for the long term, right? It's not just for the time being while they're here to support us, but it's really to enhance the systems that we have in place to support our 4 campuses. So what we would like to highlight, in partnership with NIET, we've developed a Wildcat Way dashboard. So our principals and curriculum team have access to all of the important documents that we have to align ourselves with in order to stay organized. So it is a lot of information, and the dashboard continues to grow, but what we house here are support dates and agendas, so everyone has access to everything in one place, ensuring that our elementary school can access high school's plans in order, to build capacity in that regard. So it has been a good process because maintaining access to all of these things is difficult without a dashboard to house this. So what's significant with our NIET support, we have 2 consultants, 1 specialist for RLA and 1 specialist for math, but they do support our 4 campuses in our structures. So we have our ILT, our instructional leadership team, as well as our cluster PLC, where our teachers plan accordingly. So we've been aligning those systems in the weeks that we've been doing this work. And there's a long calendar that goes out to the rest of the year. It's color-coded to highlight support, but it is a landing page, so we can very quickly see what's happening at elementary, at intermediate, at high school, and junior high. And the beauty of it is that our curriculum specialists and principals have jumped to other campuses to gain insight in what's happening at elementary, intermediate, and so on. So here you'll see some photos. Believe it or not, on the 3rd week of school, which I believe was last week, we began our first round of product observations. So as a team, we went into our elementary, intermediate, and high school campuses to review the product and learn and see how our students are engaged in their learning. And what was really beautiful to see is the vertical alignment that occurred, from K all the way to 6th grade, but even horizontally, as we were looking at different classrooms, you can see that the students were engaged in very similar work. And what was more impressive was in the teachers' discussions of this, there was so much collaboration, and how should we teach this piece? How do we increase our students' engagement? and the focus was on the how more so than the what. So it was a really wonderful thing to see our students so engaged and immersed. You'll see this is a first grade classroom, and we have a first grade kiddo teaching the class and showing her process. We have another first grade classroom where the kiddos were using dry erase boards, and they were excited to answer. They'd hide their answers and then show them to the crowd. And then we have a third grade classroom in the center. I know it's hard to see, but the teacher created a protocol, and the kiddos get to go in different stations, and they really had a good time showing their work and showing us what they were doing. So we also, you'll see we have dry erase tables. This is a third grade classroom, and kiddos were working independently, and they love to write on the tables. They really had a good time doing this. And we have a fifth grade classroom that was doing a read aloud, and students were able to annotate within their text. What I'd really like to point out as part of this slide is you'll see here how many individuals, so you'll see a mixture of curriculum team, administrators, and Mr. Talamantes, all going through and calibrating what we are seeing in the classroom. So formulating a common language behind what that strong Tier 1 instruction looks like. So while it's been a heavy lift on our part, we've really been able to see the fruits of our labor. We sat in PLC with teachers, and they were excited. And the shift, we began a lot of this work in April of last year, so to see what it is now and what it looks like in front of students has really been a phenomenal experience. Thank you. Any questions for me?
Great work. It's a great thing seeing all the engagement. We look excited to hearing more throughout the year. We have one question from Mr. Zarate. He's watching live right now until he gets here. So he had a question on the accountability rating. His question was, if the appeal gets accepted, will it change the overall rating of the district?
That's a wonderful question. Unfortunately, it will not. There's 4 domains, and because we fall under 3 of those, the 3D rule applies, we would remain at a D of a 69, even though our high school does carry 40% of that. That 1 point wasn't significant enough to move it. It's a great question.
All right, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Crystal, for the information. So you were touching on some of what the group picture there with admin and curriculum officers. When after the observation is completed by that group, I want to back up. Do the teachers understand it's not in there to gotcha? You're coming in to see what?
So we're
What
going.
are we looking for? Yeah.
Yes, they do understand, and we have, as we started these learning walks, it is in the 3rd week of school, so really our input and our desire to get into classrooms is to learn the product and the cadence of how the lesson is being taught. So we're very transparent in that we're learning it with them, and we're just attempting to be there from an angle of support and our observations. And part of the protocol, so we go in to observe and calibrate, but a requirement is that we coach and discuss with teachers afterwards.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
When does that discussion take place?
The recommendation is within 24 hours. So what's really neat, again, I mentioned that this is a process that we're learning. So what's neat is that we did this throughout the day together, and then our NIET consultants actually, they pulled 2 teachers in and showed us
Great,
what that
great,
coaching conversation should look like. So we're growing in that capacity as well.
Okay. I had another question. So so after that is done, who's providing the feedback? I mean, you mentioned the NIET folks, but is it the campus principal? Is everyone as a group meeting with that teacher? Say NIET's not in the district that day. Who's providing that feedback to the teacher?
So it varies, but yes, it does fall to the administrator and the curriculum specialist. So this was a group calibration walk, but the expectation for the weeks which we're not doing it in a group is that the individual that goes in the classroom then provides that feedback.
Okay. How often are these going to be done?
The recommendation is within every 2 weeks we're going through these. So we're setting those schedules currently to ensure that we have a full scope of our teachers, right? We want a full scope of the grade level.
And again, not to, you know, I respect all our teachers and what they do in the classroom, because I can certainly relate. Say you're observing particular teachers, is there protocols or plans or, okay, teacher Michael, we've been noticing this going on, or we're not seeing enough of this, or is that, you know, to let them know what's missing and how they can improve, or what, is there a script for that, or is
There
there?
is. There is a script for that. We're following very similar to our T-test post-observation protocols, but the expectation is that there is a refinement and a reinforcement, so a glow and a grow at every coaching conference after.
That would be those crucial conversations with the principal and the teacher, and, to help that teacher grow.
Yes, sir,
if
that's
needed.
correct.
Okay.
And our goal in getting a full scope is to have that baseline data to see our trends, right? And to be able to
Great.
see where we're performing higher and where we need more support. And NIET is working through Cluster, that's the weekly PLC. We noticed a trend, I'll give you an example of learning targets. Okay, so learning targets is one of our main focus, one of four. And we noticed in one classroom, it was highlighted extremely, and in 3 other classrooms, that was an area to really reinforce. So
Good.
the next cluster goal is how do we implement iteration of
There
that
you go.
learning target so students know the objective?
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, I have a couple of questions. I'm curious, how is the Bluebonnet curriculum working out for the students? I know it's very early in the year, and I'm sure there's some type of campus improvement plan. I'm curious on each campus's plan, curriculum, and what can we do if there's anything that we can do on our behalf? Because I see your accountability scores, but what can we do to help, to be part of that work, to make it better?
I'm glad that you mentioned that, Mr. Morones. As a board, and I'll speak for the group, and anybody is welcome to chime in. I know as we're discussing the product walks and going into classrooms and being visible, I think visibility and just having the conversation of data and being familiar with the curriculum that we're using on campus, familiarity, and really just engaging in conversation with folks, because perception varies and what you hear might vary as well. So just being in the loop of what we're doing. We do have, I showed the schedule. We have that schedule all the way to December. So if at any point y'all have the availability to come with us into classrooms and see what that looks like, hearing a cluster and seeing what teachers do and discuss and the amount of effort they put into planning and executing the lesson is phenomenal. I can't say enough words to really showcase that. So as often as we can see you at our schools, you are always welcome, and we'd love to show you the work that we're doing. This alignment and this campus planning and going as a group into classrooms is something that we weren't able to do last year until second semester. So it really is phenomenal that 3 weeks into school, we've built the culture in which we can do those things. And I felt very comfortable doing that. I believe our teachers did as well.
Mrs. Pearson, maybe on our next opportunity, we can take a closer look at each campus improvement plan so we can see how we can help.
Yes, those will be presented to the board in October. The campus improvement plans, you'll get an executive summary sheet from each principal for the campus improvement plans. And then there is a plan to have a structured walk with the board so that we don't have a quorum, obviously. So we have some walks that will invite 2 to 3 board members to come with us to get into the schools and see the instruction that's occurring.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
I know I look forward to that. Ms. Pearson has mentioned it. I look forward to that, so please know that I'm coming around, and anybody else, we're coming around just to support, okay? Just support. 6:27 is when Noe came into the meeting. Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions?
Okay. Did you want to add something? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If I can just add something, because there's some very good questions and very insightful. I'll come back to Mr. Yu's, Mr. Riegas' question in a minute, but to answer Mr. Morones, I've been meeting with the principals because 3 of our campuses were designated targeted school improvement, and I've been speaking with Ms. Pearson on what work we're doing, and so our campus principals. We had already reviewed the data in the summer, so even before we got notice from TA, they were already working on strategies and activities to address what they felt were the most pressing needs, which when TA gave us official reports, they just happened to align. And so you are gonna see these in the campus improvement plan. So, what can you do to support us, just making sure, that you're helping and going with the walkthroughs. You have any questions, ask us, hey, how is it going? Now, Mr. Cantu had a foresight in when I met with him earlier in the week. Because we all had you approved board goals. So we also came out with the growth progress measures. So what he did is he knew what he needed to focus on, so he put those as goal progress measures. So what you're going to see, and we're going to report on a monthly basis between now and next year, is what he has in his campus improvement plan. So that is good. So that was some insight and hindsight by Mr. Cantu. And then going back to Mr. Uriegas' question about, what happens if we're not seeing that fidelity. So one of the protocols when we met with our technical assistant provider is fidelity of implementation. So this is a protocol. So we were having conversations I believe it was yesterday with one of our technical assistants, and so they were suggesting about maybe reviewing every 3 weeks that implementation, seeing if that integrity is there. But I know I stepped up and I mentioned to our team and our principals that were there at that time that maybe we need to do this monitoring more closely because we're just starting it. So we did shorten that monitoring to 2 weeks instead of 3. So like that, we can get that. And, if there's something not going right, or we feel we need to pivot, we can do it quickly instead of later when it may be too late for us to catch it and make the moves that we wanted to. So, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Talamantes.
Next, we have student staff recognition. We have our star students from CSE and our above and beyond service staff recognition, CSE.
Good evening, Board President Franco, Superintendent Pearson, and members of the board. Today, I would like to recognize 3 individuals that go above and beyond at our campus. First, I'd like to take a moment to recognize Ms. Joanne Ortiz for her outstanding support at Carrizo Springs Elementary during this transition to our Blue Bonnet curriculum. As many of you may know, this curriculum has been very different for our teachers. It requires them to do different types of planning that they had to learn, which is called lesson planning internalization. So it's different from years past where 1 or 2 teachers did the lesson plans for the whole team and then everybody met and they shared them. This year, every teacher has to internalize her own lesson plans. And it was a change. It was tough. Our teachers, it was very different for them. So Mrs. Ortiz, in preparation for that, she internalized every grade levels. Right before the first week of school, she went through all of the kinder curriculum, internalized those lessons, first grade curriculum, the second grade and the third grade. She checked out to see what we needed as far as manipulatives. She trained our instructional aides to help us create some of those manipulatives. And then she even role modeled with the teachers. So she said, okay, pretend I'm the student. How are you going to teach it to me? And I think that really made a big difference in helping our teachers feel that they were ready for the first week of school and ready for starting this new Blue Bonnet curriculum. So thank you, Mrs. Ortiz, for going above and beyond. You come up and... Today, we're also proud to recognize a very special member of our Wildcat family, and that is one of our very dedicated paraprofessionals, Mrs. Maria Castro. Mrs. Castro has been employed with the district for over 30 years. I believe you told me 36, Ms. Castro. But what has been amazing, and I didn't know this until last year we were talking, in these 30 some odd years, she's only been absent a handful of times. I would say maybe 3. I want to say 3. I tried to go check the records, but I couldn't go that far back. But she only has about 3 absences, which I think is unbelievable for her dedication. And I really wanted to highlight that today. Not only does she show up every day, but she's there by 7:15, willing to help us with our morning duties, welcoming our students. And so thank you, Ms. Castro, for the countless ways you've invested in our children and in our district. Your loyalty, your dependability, and heart for service are an inspiration to us all. We could please give her a big round of applause. Really, and she was also an aide when I was in pre-K, I believe, so she was my aide, so yes. She was my pre-K aide, so yes, thank you, Ms. All of us, she was a teacher to all of us, thank you. last but not least, I want to take a special moment to recognize one of our youngest heroes here at Carrizo Springs Elementary and one of our very own TikTok sensations, our very own kindergartner, Milo Garza. Milo shines every single day with his exceptional behavior and his kindness towards others. He always greets us every morning, extremely respectful to us all. He reminds us that being a Wildcat means not only working hard, but also treating everyone with respect and care. Milo also made our community shine recently when he represented the Carrizo Springs community and the CSC community in several news media outlets for his incredible showmanship with his beloved goat. So talk about talent. Thank you, Milo, for showing us what it's like to be a true leader.
Thank you, Milo. We all got to meet a movie star.
Better share some cake. I want cake.
I don't let's skip that one. There's nothing. Announcements. Go to superintendent. Next, superintendent briefing.
Thank you. So we'll start with our first day of school with our senior sunrise. Thank you for our parents who went completely out with decorations and games and all kinds of activities to kick off the year for our seniors. An incredible day. And we're so excited to have a wonderful year with our seniors. Thank you to our amazing school board and our staff for such a warm welcome to our students on the first day of class. We've just completed the third week of school. We're on to the fourth week of school, and it's been a strong start. The next football season opener, we kicked off against our opponents, and we are excited to see our Wildcats continue to thrive. They did have their win last week with Hebronville, and we continue to see them thrive. Congratulations to our Wildcats. And then we have Miss Paulina Lira, who had her 500 career kills, so a huge congratulations to our senior on achieving her 500th career kill during the game against Hondo. And then, like we heard this evening, our Blue Bonnet Internalization Express, we're very proud of our teachers. They are embracing this change because of the need for us to continue to grow our students, and we just couldn't be more proud of the work that they're putting in. As you can see displayed in the pictures, it's just all hands on deck. Thank you, teachers, so much. Our Grandparents' Day, we were excited to have amazing celebrations at our Carrizo Springs Elementary. Thank you so much to Mrs. Garcia and to Mrs. Campa for the wonderful Grandparent Day activities, breakfasts and lunches that you had planned. Our first at CSI, and it went very well. So thank you both for your dedication. Thank you to our grandparents and our community for showing up. It was a tremendous event. And then, of course, our junior high. Thank you, Dr. Rubalcaba, Mr. Talamantes, for recognizing in our accountability uptake. Thank you, Principal Guevara, for your leadership. The two distinctions do not go unnoticed of the hard work of our teachers at the junior high. It's a team effort, and we know that you're going to continue to thrive. I love your target. I love your target, Mrs. Guevara. We're headed for that A at the junior high. Great work. Thank you. And then our district enrollment. Actually, on Friday, this was put in place a little bit early for the board, but we were actually at 1820 on last Friday. So you can see the numbers of our enrollment. We are slightly down from where we ended the school year. We are still working hard on recovering students and hope to see that come up just a little bit. As far as our construction update, we are on target. We have our color scheme coming up here in the next few weeks, and then we will move over to our furniture fair in October. We will have teachers and administrators involved in that process, and then we will bring to the board in October for our regular board meeting. We will come with our next project deadline, which is going to be to start the demolition. So that will be coming to the board in October as a presentation. And that's our construction update. Thank you.
Anything y'all want to add? I know y'all are here, all here. Pablo's here too. Okay, all right, thank you. What else? Okay. We'll go on to reports and informational items. First one, discussion and review of the quarterly delinquent tax activity report for Mr. Cabello.
Okay, thank you. The first item I report is mass mailing. The last mass mailing we did was in May. We mailed out 3,477 letters, and that was the first mailing that included the tax year 2024 taxes on it. The second item, the final notice letters. This past quarter, we did mail out 18 new final notice letters that represent 47 delinquent accounts, and those letters are represented there on pages 1 and 2 by the taxpayer name, a brief property description, account number, and the taxes due to the school district at the time that the letter was mailed. So those final notice letters are on pages 1 and 2, which carries on page 3, item number 3, tax suits. This past quarter, we did file 6 new tax suits, which represent 15 delinquent accounts. And those suits there are listed on page 3 by suit number, defendant name, a brief property description, the account number, and the taxes due to the school district at the time that the suit was filed. Those 6 suits are listed there on page 3. Carries on to page 4. Item 4 are tax dockets. We did have 3 dockets this past quarter. We had a docket on May 6th. We had a docket on May 7th. We also had a tax docket on July 17th. The May docket, May 6th, is listed on page 4 by the suit number, taxpayer name, property description, account number, taxes due to the school district at the time the suit was filed, and the status of the case at that hearing date. And the May 6th docket is listed there entirely on page 4. The May 7th docket is on pages 4 and 5, carries on to page 6. The July 17th docket is on pages 6 and 7. There were 5 cases on July 17th, which takes us to page 7, item number 5. Our next tax dockets are future dockets. Our next dockets set are for September 11th and for October 7th. The September 11th docket cases are listed on pages 7 and 8. The October 7th docket cases are listed on pages 8 through 9. And they're listed there by suit number, defendant's name, a brief property description, and property account number. That carries on to our last item, number 11 on page 9, our delinquent collections. The base tax collected this past quarter for both the M&O fund and the INS fund total $207,483.22. And that very quickly is a summary of the report. If there's any questions in regard to the report, I'll do my best to answer your questions.
I just want to be educated a little bit regarding the collection process. So, property taxes are the last day of payment is January 31st, right?
The current taxes come out in October,
Yeah.
and they stay current till January 31.
Yes.
On February 1, they do go
They're-
delinquent,
They
yes.
are considered the past due and delinquent.
That's correct.
So, if you can walk us through the process, like when you first send the notices, the letters, and then the last, how long does it take to send the last notice, and then how long does it take for the hearings, and how long does it take for the judgment, final judgment?
Okay, well, let me just tell you, let me just get to the end first. It all varies. It all varies. As you said, the current year taxes go delinquent on February 1 of the next year. And like I had here in item number 1 on our mass mailing, that mass mailing in May is the first notice they get from my office in regards to their delinquent taxes for that current year in May. We give them that notice. It's a statutory notice. And in the notice, we tell every taxpayer in the notice that their tax is delinquent. And if it stays delinquent by July 1, at that point, my attorney's fees get attached onto that tax bill. So they're giving that notice in May all the way through June 30th or July 1. So on July 1, if it's not paid, there's an additional penalty added onto that tax bill, which are my attorney's fees, which of course don't get paid until the taxpayer pays the account. So in July 1 is when the current year tax, which went delinquent February 1, gets turned over to my office. And July 1 is when we start working on those current year taxes. And July 1, we send out notices. We go and we try to get those accounts that are delinquent 1 year, the most recent year that just went delinquent, that are larger tax amounts. So we attack those first, and we go after those. If they don't, we send them a letter. We send final notice letters, which are also my report. We send them, July, we send them every month, July, August, September. And those that don't come in and pay or call or work out some type of arrangements, then we start working on the title search on them to get suits filed. So that's the process, and there's no specific deadline. I can't tell you, like, we send out a letter July 1, we file suit August 1. It depends. Some people may call and say, I need a little more time. So we work with taxpayers or some that do not even reply. Or I'll tell you, the letters we send out that come back with a bad address, return address, those go to the top of my list. If there's not a good address in that account, I do go look for a good address. And if not, then those go to the top of the list to try to get those worked out. So from there, once we file suits, then it's a question of trying to get service, trying to get the sheriff to locate the taxpayer to serve them with papers of the suit. And that's true whether it's in Dimmitt County or it's Otto County. We have to send citations to those counties and for the sheriff to try to get them served. So that's the trickiest part, the service, getting the sheriff to get service, whether it's our county or another county. But once that's done, then they're set, they're ready to get set for court. And unless they have a payment agreement or some type of a hardship that we're aware of, other than that, then they're ready to get set for court. So that quickly, in a little bit of a nutshell, it's the process, how it starts from February 1 through July 1 to how we attack the account.
So we don't have like a particular date for the judgment or collection from the time you file the suit?
No, there's no particular time period, because once we do file the suit, like I tell you, and once we do get service on the defendant, and there's no reason why we cannot proceed, like there's not a payment agreement or hardship, then the next step is to check with the district court, see when their next court dates are, and then we set it on whatever court date we have next that's available. There's some time limits. We have to give notice to the taxpayer, or if there's an attorney on the other side, we have to give them basically 30 to 40 days notice. So once we do have service, then we check with the court to see when the next available date is. That's why when I report next docket dates, they're out in the future, because we do have to, there's some time limits there we have to meet. So it all depends when we get service on the defendants, because there's usually more than one, and then when the next court date is.
Thank you, Mr. Cabello. And I ask this question because when we do the budget, as much as possible, we have a basis to, as much as possible, have a realistic budget. Thank you.
Yes. It's just a question, honestly, of getting the citation served by the sheriff's departments. And just to tell you another thing, just sometimes we cannot locate the defendant. We cannot. Then we have to put it on the bulletin board. We have to post on a bulletin board, and that stays on the bulletin board for at least 42 days, minimum 42 days. And then after that, we have to have an attorney appointed to represent those people who are cited on the bulletin board. So that adds more time to the process. But as soon as all that is done, then, like I said, we do look for the next court date available for us.
I have a question, sir. How many open cases do you have, and how old are they?
They vary. They vary. Let me just tell you an age. They vary. How many cases we have pending right now? I'm probably thinking right now we probably have about 70 to 90 in that area right there, about 70 to 90. And that includes those that have just been filed. That includes those that we have filed and we don't have service. I mean, the whole process. And it includes those that have payment agreements. You know, we try to work out if people want to come in and talk about a payment agreement. We do discuss a payment agreement with them. And a payment agreement puts the suit on hold while they're making their payments.
Can you remember how old is your oldest case?
We probably have an old one currently still pending. I'm going to say it's probably about 15 years old. Probably about 15 years old.
How many of those do we have? How many of those do you think we have?
I don't think there's that many. I mean, there's a couple. And some of those, like here on my report, there's one that's well, it's 8 years ago. It's 8 years ago. But yeah, there's probably a couple that are about 15 years old. And those may be, I'd have to check each one, but probably they had payment agreements at one point, or maybe there's a tax deferral. Sometimes if you're over 65, your homestead, you do have a right to file a tax deferral at the appraisal district. Some of those may have tax deferrals on them too. A tax deferral means I have to hold off everything on my collection process.
I guess my question is along the lines of Mr. Doria, is the time frame, the process. If you file by June or July of that previous year, then how long does it take before we close that case?
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I can't give an exact answer for every case, because like I said, it all depends on service. Service is the hardest thing. is to get service. And once we get service, then the next thing is that some people do come in, we do discuss payment agreements. And there's a payment agreement, we honor the agreement and allow them to make their payments. So that puts a hold on the suit. So, I mean, I'm sorry, but I just can't give you an exact time frame other than July 1, when the accounts get turned over to us, we start working on those new year's accounts on those.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you.
Any other questions? No? Thank you, Mr. Cabello.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Next, we have financial briefing. Ms. Diaz.
Thank you. Good evening. So on our financial update, this is for the year ending August 31, 2025. It's our fiscal year end report. And keep in mind that these are unaudited figures. Our auditors are here actually this week, and our audit will be done probably by the January board meeting date. So just so you're aware, you know, these are not final numbers. But at this time, our August 31 reports, this is what has been collected. For general fund, we have collected $61,995,960. And our expenditures are $66,006,841. This does include the, this does include the Chapter 41 payment. I was like, that's really big, but that's what it is. The $65,092 other year-to-date resources, those are the Asvita numbers that we've talked about, which is the long-term lease agreements. And then the net revenue over expenditures are in the deficit of $3.9 million, $3,945,789, which this is something that we had expected. You know, there were some projects that the board had approved throughout the year. So with the fund balance at 8/31 of 2024 of $24,045,453, when we net this, our current unaudited fund balance is $20,099,664 at this time. For food service, we've collected for the revenue $1,853,783. Our expenses are $2,067,422, leaving a deficit of $213,639 for the year at this time. And for the debt service, our bond payments are all paid through August. August is our last payment that we make. We make them in February and in August. So our fund balance at the end of 8/31/2024 was $3,613,129. Our revenues collected to date for this year are $11,520,574, and we've paid $11,689,650, which means we paid $359,076 from our fund balance, which is what we had expected. That's what we had budgeted. Our unaudited fund balance at this point is $3,254,053. So what that means is, in the future, when the board is ready on the defeasance, this is, you know, would be available when the time comes. But that's where we are at this moment. On the next page, for Fund 199, you can see in the various columns for the revenue, you'll see our original budget, our revised budget, what we spent for the month of August, and then our year-to-date actual at this point. And so that's where you'll see the $66,995,000, and then the other resources that I mentioned, which is the Asvita. And then on the expenses, you'll see them by function code instruction, for example, function 12, 13, and so forth, which is the $66,006,481 at this point. So it's just a more a better view by department and so forth. For food service on the next page, So here we're breaking down the local revenues, the state and the federal programs, which is 1,853,783, and then the expenses, and where we are at this moment as of 8/31/2025, which is the deficit of 213,639, which is definitely an improvement from the prior year. So we're good there as well. And then on the final page, you'll see our interest and sinking, the debt service fund. And then you can see our local revenue, the tax collections and so forth, including our interest, is 11,482,438. We do have state revenue of 38,000, bringing that total revenue of 1.5 million. Our expenses are at 11.8 million. Okay. And then on the last page, a recap on our construction. So on the bottom part, I'm showing you where we started last year, the 23-24 year, and then currently on the 24-25. So on construction, we've collected year-to-date $4,338,50. The current month local interest is $399,480, and our expenses for the month are $683,796. But our year-to-date total is $3,219,129. So currently, we are still above revenues over expenses by $1,118,921. That's all I have, ma'am.
Questions?
Yeah, I have a question, Madam President. So this will be the year-end report, right? So if you look at the appropriations, the total expenditures, actual expenditures is less than our revised budget, less 3.2 million less than our revised budget. So I would assume that there are still a lot of payables, like accruals.
Okay, so the majority of the larger projects have already been paid for. So the only thing we have right now, like we're doing our end-of-year payroll accruals, which we've already estimated that and booked it. It's being reviewed by our auditors. It might be about $500,000. Other than that, I think we're pretty near done spending. I mean, we've done a much better job of trying to close out the year, and so. But could something come in the next month? Of course, we're still running and making sure that all of our invoices are submitted and so forth. And we report every month to our principals and directors and make them aware of anything that's outstanding, purchase orders that are outstanding, travel that might be outstanding. So we're closely monitoring. So I feel like, we don't have a long way to go on bills, but we do get some bills that come in, like your say your water bill. Sometimes it's 30 days later and it'll still be for August, so we still have to book it to August if it's for that period. But I will definitely give you another update, as the months pass to see where we are as we move along.
So how about our revenues? Are we expecting more revenues that are receivables?
We still have to look at anything, for example, on our summary of finance, because you know how I've mentioned to the board that during the year, TEA will update our summary of finance. So we still have to go through our near final summary of finance, booking those adjustments, which we're doing that with the auditors currently. So that has not booked yet, and I don't have a figure for that quite yet, but we could possibly recognize some more revenue as well. But all our regular normal cash deposits are already booked. For example, one of our end-of-year audit letters that we send out, for example, to the tax office. And so if in September, for example, there are still items that are collected for August, they will be recorded in August, but it is part of our end-of-year procedure, and they get letters directly from us through our auditors saying, send us the final end of August number. So, yeah, we could still see some additional revenue. I just don't have a figure. Mhm.
Yeah, because if you look at our investment portfolio summary by fund, for the general fund, we only have 16,563,873. So I would assume that if there are no significant receivables, this will likely be our fund balance at the end of the year.
It could be, yes, sir. I mean, it could be, except for, these final audit adjustments that we do at the end.
500,000 more, but not that much. So from 24 million fund balance will go down by a lot, right?
Yeah, I'll keep the board updated monthly as we progress through the audit, sir. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Diaz.
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna go to approval of consent agenda items.
I did want to point out to the board that you did receive a slip of paper that has like a pink line across it. I wasn't sure if it was in your board book, so I wanted to make sure that you had it. And it's the vendors above 50,000 for the entire year through August. So if it's not in your board book, it should have been. I just want to make sure you have it, so I gave it to you in a paper handout. So this is our end of year August vendors that exceeded 50,000.
Thank you.
Well,
Okay, on the consent agenda items, the consent agenda items are presented to the board as a single bundled action requiring only one motion for approval. These typically include budgeted purchases over 50,000, annual contracts, routine matters that require board authorization. The administration thoroughly vets all consent items. Do we have any questions on any of the items?
I just have a comment. On item C, approval of quarterly investment report, I noticed that Meter is investing like 9 million investing for the money market, which has an interest of 4.1% compared to the investment for the Lone Star. They're both overnight investment, and the Lone Star investment pool has like 4.4%. So if you can check with the Meter, because they've been investing this 9.9 million with the money market.
yes, sir. I will definitely bring that up.
Thank you. That's it. Rest my case.
And these, the laptops are all stuff that was already purchased.
No, it budgeted.
make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion made by Jeff Ortiz, seconded by Al Doria, to approve the consent agenda items. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job, sir.
Can I add something? Good evening, Madam Board President and the school board members. Thank you for approving this one. This would help greatly with the students, especially at the high school, because we have like new teachers, and we wanted to support also the their program. So with this initiative, it will greatly help us with their studies and all the resources they needed. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Jerry.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir, and happy National IT Day
Oh, thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
to all your team.
Yes, sir. So my team, let me just like add into that. So my team, we're working on the background. So we would be, we try possible like as much as we can, like the teachers' needs and all of that. And also my team's like for the live stream and all that. So I want to thank Gilbert, Michael, not all of them, but I have Rolando and I have Consuelo. They're doing the best as they can to handle the campuses.
Get up, guys. Get up. Get up. Get up. Get up.
And Maricruz too.
There you go.
Thank you.
You didn't bring him a cake. I'm just kidding.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have discussion and possible action items. A, consider approval of budget amendments as presented.
Okay, so what we're presenting here is a request for the board to approve a similar funding for special maintenance projects up to up to 200,000. Last year, we had requested 350, which the board had approved, and we did not use all of it, so we felt like reducing that to about 200,000, and, you know, it would require superintendent's approval before using, and then we will report to the board should any of those funds be used. So that is our request for emergency or anything like that. And that's the recommendation.
You can go item
Yes.
by item.
If no questions,
Yeah.
President Franco, I make the motion to approve item A, approval of budget amendments as presented.
Second.
Motion made by Michael Uriega, seconded by Jeff Ortiz to approve the budget amendments as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Motion carries. B,
I want to, Ms. Franco, I'm sorry, I just want to thank the board. Thank you so much. This allows us to act swiftly. These, just this year, I know you know, board, you were kept closely in the loop, but it was mainly for our AC, and we had that one electrical with that one storm where it took down the whole pole, and we were able to move very quickly. So thank you, board.
B, consider approval of a plan of finance to issue one or more series of tax notes authorizing district staff, bond counsel, and financial advisor to proceed with such financing and approving other matters incident and related thereto. And we have Mr. Tejerina on Zoom.
Yes, hello, everyone.
Hello, Mr. Tejerina.
Ms. Pearson, members of the board, I am going to discuss, actually, this is the different presentation. Let me see if I can pull it up, another one. Now, let's see here, bear with me. Pricing, let's see. Let's see, let me see if I can. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, does everybody have a copy of the presentation? I'm having a bit
Yes.
difficulties
Yes.
getting that. I'm sorry?
Yes, we all have a copy.
Okay. And then I will go straight into the presentation. I'm having a few difficulties pulling it up on my end, and I do apologize for that. Again, Ms. Pearson, members of the board, for the record, Robert Tijerina with Tijerina Financial Consulting, here to discuss the Maintenance Tax Note Series 2005 Plan of Finance. And what the board is considering this evening is just allowing the consultants to work with Ms. Pearson and Ms. Diaz to put a financing package together and then come back at a later date where the board can consider approving the financing as final. So if you turn to page 1 of the hard copy, we have the projects stated from roofing, the crawl space, HVAC, there to the high school, to the junior high, and building automation system, LED. The total project cost is estimated about $4,912,750. And below that, we have the estimated cost of issuance plus rounding about $87,250 for a total amount of $5 million. And I believe we had discussed a different amount, a larger amount, several weeks back. But I applaud the board and wanting to go ahead and do some projects with existing bond funds and maybe even possibly some general fund proceeds. So the amount that we're looking to finance on page 2 is a total of $5 million. If you turn to page 3, we're estimating the maturity on the maintenance tax note payout for $5 million, about 15 years. And right now we're expecting the first payment to occur in fiscal year 2007. We're currently in fiscal year 26. So the first payment will be sometime in February, about February the 15th of 2007, followed by August, more or less 15th, 2007. So the first total principal and interest payment will be in fiscal year 2027. And we do have a 15-year maturity on page 3 going out to 2041. The estimated interest rate that we're expecting about 4.75%. And I believe everybody, the board members, everybody in the audience knows that the Federal Reserve System will be meeting tomorrow. They met today and will be meeting tomorrow. And there is a good possibility of the Federal Reserve System cutting interest rate 25 basis points. Now we're hoping that trickles down and it also impacts the school district financing as far as we're estimating 4.75% on page 3. We're hoping that the interest rate will be lower than that. And again, we won't know until, if you turn now to page 4, we won't know when the bids are due. We won't know the interest rate until the bids are due on October the 21st. And that is also a regular board meeting. And at that time, the bids will be due on Tuesday, October the 21st. I will contact Ms. Pearson, Ms. Diaz, present the lowest interest rate, and then be in front of the board, Mr. Aguilera, who's also on the call, and myself, to present the final terms, which is the interest rate and the 15-year maturity and anything else that the lender, the bank, may have incorporated into the bid document. Now, what we're wanting to do with this maintenance tax note financing, again, is be able to structure it where the district can pay it off at any time without a penalty or a premium. So if you want to pay it off, you come into a windfall or interest rates continue to drop, you can refinance it, pay it off with no penalty if it's 2 to 3 years down the road. So again, that is our goal, and that's what we're hoping to receive on October the 21st. Now, on October 21st, at that board meeting is when the board will consider the financing as final. The interest rate will be locked in, the maturity structure will be locked in, and so is everything else. And the closing will occur on page 4, if it is approved on October the 21st, the district will receive the funds at closing on November the 13th. Now, if you turn to page 5, what we have here is the working group. We have the issuer, Carrizo Springs CISD, the financial advisor, bond counsel, Mr. Aguilera of Escamilla Panic, who's also on the call, and we'll discuss the next agenda item, the reimbursement resolution. The placement agent, FHN Financial, the purchaser and the paying agent will not be determined until October the 21st, when all the banks submit their bids. So we will choose the lowest interest rate, the best financing opportunity for the district on the 21st, and recommend that to the board. I know it's a lot of information, but Ms. Pearson, members of the board, any questions for myself?
Questions? No questions? Any questions?
I'm good.
If you have no questions, do we have a motion?
Any questions?
No questions.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. Motion made by Jeff Ortiz, seconded by Oscar Morones, to approve a plan of finance to issue one or more series of tax notes, authorizing district staff, bond counsel, and financial advisor to proceed with such financing and approving other matters incident and related thereto. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? None? Motion
Thank
carries.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, members of the board, allowing us to present the information this evening, and we will see everyone on October the 21st.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, item C, consider approval of resolution 2025-15, declaring an intention to reimburse certain expenditures with borrowing proceeds.
Yes, so can everybody hear me, first of all?
Yes.
Thank you very much. My name is Juan Aguilera with the law firm of Escamilla and Panic, and we have the pleasure of representing the school district as your bond attorneys. So what we have today is before you is for your consideration is the adoption of a reimbursement resolution. This is a resolution that we utilize with a lot of our issuers, and this would allow the school district to be able to reimburse itself from proceeds from the notes that will be issued in the future for any expenses that are related to the purpose of the notes that Mr. Tijerina mentioned, that are made prior to the district receiving funds. Now, the state law, the government code provides that you can be able to reimburse yourself for expenditures, again, related to the purposes. And then we also have federal tax laws that when the district issues tax notes as tax exempt bonds, you also have the ability to be able to reimburse yourself. The IRS code requires certain things, one of them being that a formal declaration must be made. And if you decide to adopt this resolution, you are then are making a formal declaration. The federal tax laws also state that expenditures, and again related to the purpose, that are made no more than 60 days from the adoption of this resolution can be reimbursed with note proceeds that you will receive at a later time. So by adopting this resolution that you have before you, will give you the maximum flexibility to be able to, if again the district wants and the board wants to reimburse yourselves, then you could be able to do that from the note proceeds. So number one, the resolution does not obligate you to issue anything, so that if you decide down the road you don't want to issue any debt, any additional debt, you don't have to do that. The other thing is that you do not have to reimburse yourselves for any expenditure made. However, if you do want to make a reimbursement from note proceeds, you cannot do that under federal tax laws for tax exempt obligations unless you adopt this resolution. So again, this is something that makes a lot of economic and business sense to have in place in the event that the district wants to reimburse itself for expenditures that will be made now and before you receive funds. Are there any questions?
Madam President,
Yes.
I move to approve Resolution 2025-15, declaring an intention to reimburse certain expenditures with borrowing proceeds.
Motion made by.
Okay, if that,
Go ahead. Did you want to say something?
no, I thought that was a question for me because I'm
Oh,
having
sorry.
difficulty. My connection is not very good. And I'm having some difficulty in hearing what the board
Okay.
is saying.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion made by Aldoria, seconded by Jeff Ortiz, to approve of Resolution 2025-15, declaring an intention to reimburse certain expenditures with borrowing proceeds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. And as Mr. Tijerina mentioned, Mr. Tijerina and I will be back in the near future after bids are presented, and we will then at that time have the necessary legal financing documents that are needed so that we can then proceed and submit on behalf of the district to the Attorney General's office for final approval. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. D, consider approval of Resolution 2025-16, authorizing participation in the Moat Casey Interlock Purchasing Cooperative. We have Mr. Juan Galvan.
Hello, Board Superintendent. Thank you guys for having us. My name's Juan Galvan. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for the Education Energy Initiative for MoCasey. What we have in front of you guys is to join our interlocal purchasing cooperative to do business further down the line, not today. There's some great programs that we have. I know that you guys were discussing right now some HVACs and roofs. Well, some of the things that when we started the initiative with MoCasey was, what do school districts need? And one of the first things that came up was they need funding. They don't have money. So one of the great things by coming with us, and part of the interlocal purchase cooperative has energy. So you purchase your energy, which you normally would. The price would be competitive everywhere else. But the difference between joining MoCasey and joining Cavallo, who you guys currently have, the GLO, is that we have different options for you guys. So we would be able to finance different projects for you guys. Similar to what they said, where you guys are borrowing the money. We can go ahead and kickstart those projects for you, and you'll be billed on your actual electricity bill. It'd be a line item on there. So essentially, we're financing it for you guys. Now, there is a small administrative fee. It's roughly similar to what the loan's coming out to, about 3-4%. But we've done projects up to $51 million, just to let you guys know that. So that's with our partner NextEra. One of the other great things that we were like, what else do districts need? Well, how can we actually help people save money at their personal residence? So we're able to work together with our partner at NextEra and with MoCasey. We're able to create what's called the Affinity Program. And all that stuff's in this packet I gave you. So what that is that's the lowest possible rate in the state for the faculty and staff here. We've done case studies. We've had multiple districts. In Ferris ISD, we did 5 different case studies. The highest being $2,800 savings, and the smallest being $600. Now, they had a bond at the time they needed assistance with. The taxes were going to go up $18.37. So that was the benchmark we got. We far exceeded that by far. During Edinburgh CISD, we did their case studies, and that was equivalent to a 4% raise for teachers and 10% raise for support staff. Like I said, this is all part, once you sign the commodity master agreement and you come on with MoCasey, this is all part of the agreement. These are multiple things that are available with joining the co-op. Today, we're not joining any of that. It's just to join the co-op to do future business. I know I went really fast, sorry. I used to be a debater in high school and college, so sorry, I go really fast. Sorry. Are there questions?
Yes, I had a question.
Yes.
You said that this is just to sign up for the cooperative.
That's correct.
The fee that you talked about is for,
Zero.
So
There's
this
0%.
is zero.
Zero.
So
To join the cooperative, zero. No, those are just different options. I know you guys are in a crunch because it's going to be on October 21st, but you come on the cooperative, we can do some, I'm sure everything's already put forth. We can send it to our engineering team, and they can look at it for you guys and just give you a different option as well. And this all, like I said, it'd be financed through your electricity bill. So the difference would be instead of having to borrow the money externally, you'd borrow it, it'd be borrowing through your electricity provider. Like I said, those are just different options that we're able to create for that. Today, we're just joining the co-op. I just wanted to give you guys some different perks and advantages to join the co-op if you guys decide to purchase electricity from us.
so then later, if, like you're saying, if we were to purchase the electricity, then we could go into further detail.
Yeah, that's
on
correct.
that. Okay.
That's correct.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
Madam President.
Yes. Yes.
So, you're offering services just for energy, strategic planning, integrated efficiency solutions, and property and casualty insurance at pre-negotiated prices.
That's correct. That's all that's being offered currently for the co-op
Can you
at this
explain
moment.
this further?
Excuse me?
Can you explain these services?
Yeah, the services, well, I'll let Dr. Ree explain strategic planning, but energy, that we're able to, with the property and casualty insurance, we're able to create a tower with Lloyd's of London that was able to come at a much cheaper rate than anybody else was able to offer. So that's, it was similar to Pyramid, and we were able to go ahead and insure the buildings for the entire value of the buildings. I know we had one in Port Isabel where they were only being, the coverage was only 15 million. We're able to cover the whole 127 million for the building. So that's on property and casualty. And on energy, with some of the things I explained, with energy, really, it's going to be competitive wherever you go. If you go with TASB, you go GLO, you go with us, you go with anybody, it's going to be competitive. The difference is the different perks that we're adding for you guys. That'd be the big difference on energy. And I'll pass the mic over to Dr. Ree so you can explain the strategic planning.
Hello, Madam President, members of the board. Thank you for having us here today. I'm Dr. Maria Vidauri with MOCASE. One of the other services that we do offer is the strategic planning, and this is helping districts pull together and get feedback from all stakeholders, looking together and deciding on the trajectory of your school district, right? How we pull all that together to create that strategic plan for the next 4 to 5 years. Good.
Any more questions?
How is this different from Byboard?
Well, it's different. It's essentially the same thing. It's a cooperative, so you're purchasing with direct, so that's the same thing. So, but the difference from Byboard from us, from an energy perspective, is the different programs that we're adding for the district, for faculty and staff. And we can actually extend it to members of the community if you guys would like. We can go ahead and what we'll create a URL code or a QR code that we can put on your scoreboard, and people could scan it and they can sign up and get a discounted rate at home. I believe the current rate, you guys are AEP, the current rate right now is 7.3 cents. So if you look at your bill at home, if you have a cheaper rate than that, you're doing a great job. But probably about 95% of people do not have a cheaper rate than that. So that would be your current rate at home. That's one of the biggest advantages of signing with us. The rate's going to be competitive wherever you go, but the difference will be the added incentives.
I was going to add that as far as relating that to Byboard, that would mean that the procurement piece of it is done. You know, we wouldn't have to bid it out and so forth because that competitive bidding will have already been done. That might have been what you were asking, sir.
So with this, we are exempt from the competitive procurement requirements.
That's correct. Yes, correct, yes.
And your fees compared to Byboard or?
Our fees for our services are zero. We also have Mr. Castillo here, is the next superintendent for AEP. Any outages, you guys have any lights that are out, outdoor lights, anything like that? We come in and we do audits and we fix those as well. That's free of charge as well. Our fees is similar to everybody else. It's going to be a 1 millicent, a tenth of a cent. That's going to be what everybody else charges. That's if you sign our electricity contract. Obviously, the joining part of the consultants, that's all free of charge for you guys.
Okay. You got a question? Any more questions? No questions, okay.
There are no more questions. I move to approve Resolution 2025-16, authorizing participation in the Mokesi Interlocal Purchasing Cooperative.
Second.
Motion made by Aldoria, seconded by Oscar Morones to approve Resolution 2025-16, authorizing participation in the Mo Casey Interlock Purchasing Cooperative. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? None? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item E, consider approval of the addition to the compensation plan for the 2025-2026 school year. Read them all. The diagnostician, SLP hourly extra duty, $80. The special education teacher and special education paraprofessional.
Good evening, President Franco, board members, Ms. Pearson. Mrs. Uriagas is here as she is our special education director to present her information regarding the amendments to compensation regarding special education.
Good evening. Good evening, all. So in front of you, you have the list of initials reads that are needed to be completed. This is something that didn't occur with us this year. Like most of us are new in the special ed department. So within the last year or two, these have been adding up, and now it's hitting us here in the face. So we're asking that because either way, we have to contract services out, and we pay $80 to $100. But the difference is that our diags would complete these reads and these initials, the assessment part, and it would be $80. We wouldn't be compensating them for the travel here and the travel there. And one thing you have to remember is these are from the past, so there's new ones that are going to come up during this date, and I have 2 or 3, and our SLP, they're very work-oriented, and they want to get it done. They want to get this done and then start the year fresh, because we haven't started our year because we have these that we owe. So we're asking that we compensate them at $80 an hour. They're willing to work Saturdays and Sundays because they want to complete, as you can tell, there's 34 reads. And there's 17 initials. This was as of, when did we do this? 2 weeks ago. Now we've had about 3. We met with ECI. Now we have 3 to 5 more that we call initials that you would add to this list. So I don't know where they're coming. I keep telling them to put the sign on the door that says we're closed. No more. We can't accept any more students. But they're still coming. So, I mean, it's a good thing for our district, but it adds a burden of, even if it's a transfer student in special ed, we have to have an ARD meeting. Whatever the situation is, it adds a little bit more work to all of our staff. So we come before you to ask if you would approve this rate. And it's going to, it is part of our budget, because it's what we had already, last year we didn't know we hired the diagnostician in May or June. So we had already put in the budget all the funding that they had used the previous year for contracted services. So this year we're not contracting with like 6. We have 1 LSSP that we have to have, because we don't have one in the district, and then the diags are doing most of the assessment. So it is part of the budget. I just will have to move it over, do a budget amendment to move it into personnel for extra duty pay. Any questions?
Okay, I know you said this is the same budgeted amount you budgeted from last year from the
Contracted services.
services.
It's part of that funding.
So do you see that you have like an estimated amount of savings that you'll save by keeping it here?
Well, for example, in one day, when the diet comes, she's here 4 or 5 hours that she works with either assessment, getting the data written up and stuff. But that 5 hours turns to 2 hours before and 2 hours after, because they drive from San Antonio. So that's 5, 6, 9 hours total times 100. Is their day is $900 versus, say, Mrs. Estrada came in for 5 hours. That would be 80 times 5 is what, 400? So even if you go 80 times 8 is what, 8 times 8, 64. So there's a saving of about 400, 300 to 400, because we're not paying them for the drive, and they're charging 100 while we're going to pay them a supplemental pay of $80. So there's a $20 to $25 difference. And they're writing their own reports. The reports will be done during their work time. Right now, they need to assess the students. Like, we have to get them in to get them to assess those students. And if parents are willing to come in on a Saturday, like, we would plan all this. We're going to put a timeline together and say, okay, on this date, we're going to bring 4 students, and we're going to have times. We're going to call the parents to make sure they're in town and if we can do it. So we're just really worried about getting the assessments done because, you know, special ed has timelines. And these timelines have to be completed. So I trust them, and I know it'll happen. We've been working really, really well together, and it's amazing. I'm really surprised with what we're doing. So.
And it's all gonna be done Saturdays for your?
It would have to be done either Saturday or a Sunday because, so remember, this is extra stuff that we didn't plan for because we just didn't plan for it. So we were ready to go with the year, and they had all, they had all their calendars completed, like, for the whole year. Man, Linda came in, and we got our new diagram. She said, start putting all those dates in the calendar. This is a read. This is done for 25-26. They were planning for 25-26. Well, now when this popped up, 25-26 wasn't going to start in August anymore. It wasn't going to start till December. So they were 4 to 5 months now that they had backup work. And so they're like, Linda is just, they're both, all 3 of them. Valeria, she's really young, but I sat in one of her ARDs and I was so proud of her. I was like, I was like smiling. And they're workaholics. I don't know, Ms. Pearson can tell you a little bit, but I get chills because it's a lot of work, but I know my team, all of them, Alyssa, Chelsea, Carmen, Berta, Evelyn, Ms. Zuniga, we're all working so hard. I mean, you should see them. They're working hard. We celebrate our events. Like today we had a 16 de septiembre luncheon. We were all there, we all dressed up, and to thank them, you know, we bring them all in, and we had lunch together, and we're just going. We're moving. Come 1 o'clock, Chelsea and Alyssa were running out. Like they knew they needed to get back to campus and work. So I don't know. I'm excited, and they really want to get this done as soon as they can, so they continue with their 25-26 calendar. If that makes sense. Does it make sense?
Question. So, Ms. Udegas, so when the testing is done on the weekends, that'll be done here?
Yeah.
At central office? Okay.
So we're all going to schedule our dates around to make sure that either Carmen or Berta can help us out, like making sure the child comes in, and the 2 DIACs and the SLP will be testing. Each one of them might have kids going on,
Okay,
one kid each.
Okay. So it would be about like 3 adults, 1 student? Okay.
3 to 4, because we'll
Okay.
have a secretary here to make
Okay,
sure.
perfect.
Let me call the parent ready to pick up and
Okay.
things like that.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Ma'am, so it sounds like not only are we trading apples for apples because we're still giving the student every service that he needs, but there's an advantage to having it locally available.
Yes, sir. That's correct. It's going. The funding is going to our staff.
You hear all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Consult our other special education team on the campuses or a principal. They're readily available versus an outside contractor who would have to, go through all the motions to try to get in touch with these folks, prolonging the whole process. This is going to be not only a savings, but a much more efficient process.
And at less cost to us.
Yes, exactly. Yes, sir.
President Franco, are we doing 1, 2, and 3 at the same time, or is it item by item? B1, B2? Did we do 1? I thought we were discussing 1. My apologies.
Oh, okay. Do you want us to go on with the next 2 and 3?
Do you want to do?
Oh, I'm asking.
We can do
I'm
them
asking for
separately
voting
or
purposes.
together.
Okay.
It's up to.
Move on to number 2.
Number 2 is the teacher.
If no more questions, I apologize.
So we met, Mrs. Pearson and I met with Ms. Garcia because like I said, we were trying to close the door. We didn't, if you look at our numbers, we didn't realize that we were getting these other students. For example, we had one student that was going into kinder or first, Ms. Garcia, but it never come to school. He was at home, hadn't been enrolled, and then they decided to let me bring my child back. So if you look at the numbers, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 students just at CSE, brand new to the district that we didn't account for last year. And she can give you more of an idea, but I know like our early childhood kids, the pre-KK and first, and the second, they're busting at the seams. There are 15 to 16 kids in each classroom. 14 in each classroom, and we're talking about our life skills classrooms, not our regular, resource or anything. We're talking about our life skills, and that's a lot of students to have. And we weren't accounting for this. We didn't, these are kids that were somewhere else and were not going to come to Carrizo Springs CISD, and now they're coming. So we didn't account for this. We didn't budget for this. So that's why we're coming to you. Ms. Garcia, do you want to say something?
So at the elementary, sometimes we have students that are 3 years old, and when they are at 3 and they're identified with some type of disability that may qualify them for attending school on campus at the age of 3, and that's what she's also talking about. We have some 3-year-olds that were not in school last year that we didn't know were going to qualify this year. Now they turn 3, and they will be attending school at CSC. So those are some of those, and then we had others that are coming in for the first time, kinder, first grade, and they are diagnosed with some type of disability that may need them to be in a self-contained special ed classroom. So that will increase our numbers significantly in those 2 classrooms.
So the plan is to break it up, right?
Right.
You want to move to number 3 or?
No
any
questions.
Is this for A, B, and C, or 1, 2, and 3?
Yes.
If these items were approved, what is the selection process? At this point in time of the school year, I mean, it's going to be tough. So what selection process do you have in mind?
If it's approved, we would have to post the positions. So if so approved, we'd have to make sure we advertise and post positions. You're right, it might be a bit of a challenge to find a certified special education teacher, but we've got some candidates we could reach out to.
We do the best we can with what we have.
Yes, sir, absolutely. That's what we do, and that's the Wildcat way. Anything else? I was just telling the paraprofessional part, of course, right in hand with a teacher, we would need a paraprofessional also supporting that caseload of students in the classroom. So we were asking again for one additional special education teacher and an additional special education paraprofessional.
If there's any more questions, I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Jeff Ortiz, seconded by Oscar Morones, to approve of the addition to the compensation plan for 2025-2026 school year for diagnostician, SLP, hourly extra duty $80 for the special education teacher and special education paraprofessional. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Motion carries.
That all was all together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
F, consider approval of the amendment to the compensation plan for 2025-2026 school year bus driver.
Madam President, if no questions, after reviewing this item, I make the motion to approve item F.
Second.
Compensation for bus drivers. I spoke with 2 bus drivers yesterday, and by all means.
Motion made by,
President, if we can ask Mr. Ruiz, I have some questions.
okay.
Mr. Reese, you want to come this way?
Go ahead, sir. Questions?
Thank you. Hold it close.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. I just want to know how many part-time bus drivers do you have? right now?
Part-time?
Yes,
We have
part-time.
about 8 or 9.
So how
something like
many are doing both routes and trips, and how many are just doing the trips?
We have most of them doing both. In fact, with what we have right now, we have to use everyone because we don't have enough as it is. But routes, like I said, even myself. So all of them, pretty much.
So
Yeah.
it won't be a problem if we apply this pay increase to drivers that do routes. They must do routes so they can avail of this pay increase, right? Because the routes are more important.
Yeah. It's
Will
a
there be a
minimum of
problem?
4 hours. Two in the morning, 2 in the afternoon.
All right. Thank you.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Mario,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Reese, do you, with this proposed increase, do you see, are there any potential drivers out there?
Yes, sir. Because of the amount, some of them are making less as bus drivers than what they're actually making being here for so many years as custodians and drivers.
This will help get our numbers up of drivers out.
Yes, sir.
Let me
I do
rephrase
see.
that, yes. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. We have drivers that are here that go out of town to the other districts.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And this increase will only be for driving. For example, you are a driver custodian, you will only get the increase with the driving hours and not for the custodian hours.
Correct, sir. It's just for the bus driving.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and we had a motion by Mike Uriegas, seconded by Jeff Ortiz, to approve the amendment to the compensation plan for 2025-2026 school year for the bus driver. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Motion carries.
Thank you so much for that.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Madam President, before we go on, I think it's we need to put some signs, not just the website, just like San Antonio's doing the signs like along the streets, because probably the reason why there are no applicants that they don't know that we are hiring drivers. So it's important that we put signs.
Maybe even on the buses, Ms.
No,
Doria?
on the
bus too?
Yeah, on the
bus too.
And we put the starting salary in there, which will be $20 an hour. Right?
Yeah, you're describing like when they put banners on the side of buses and park them outside?
Yes.
Yes,
Hiring bus
yes, sir.
drivers, $20
Yes,
an
they
hour.
have done here.
Yeah.
Yes, that was done here also.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, that's a good idea
Thank you.
too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Reese. Thank you, board members.
Okay, item G, consider approval of a resolution certifying compliance with the Texas Education Code 11.001 and 28.0022H regarding prohibitions on diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, duties, and to authorize the superintendent to submit the required annual certification to the Texas Education Agency on or before September 30th, 2025.
Good evening again. So before you, you have, it's recommended that the Board of Trustees approve the superintendent certification of compliance. This is an annual compliance, so this resolution you'll see again next year. For the Texas Education Code 39.008, confirming alignment with Education Code 11.005 and Education Code 28.0022H. Approval authorizes the superintendent to submit the certification to the Texas Education Agency by the required deadline, which is September 30th.
Questions?
Question, Madam President, thank you. So, Mr. T and Ms. Pearson, it's a hot topic, it's all over the news. Has this been a concern at any campus, brought to you guys within the district? Just out of curiosity, nothing's been brought forth by, okay.
No, not that I'm aware of.
Parents, teachers, students?
No.
No? Okay.
No, I've had discussions with Ms. Pearson and our principals, and nothing has been brought to our attention.
No, we all watched our legal counsel with a webinar, and, you know, the counselors in the past, if students wanted to have conversations regarding some of these topics, they did do that, and they would meet with the families in the past through parent permission. And what this law is now saying is that we cannot do that. So it's illegal from the legislation that we're not allowed. So now our counselors and our teachers and everyone has been made aware that we can't do this, basically. And this, by the certification, is required by the Texas Education Code for the district, the school board, to acknowledge that we have let everybody know, that we have put it in our handbook, and that everyone knows if for some reason they violate, that there could be disciplinary action.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion?
If no further questions, Madam President, I make the motion to approve item G.
Second.
Motion made by Michael Uriega, seconded by Aldoria, to approve the resolution certifying compliance with the Texas Education Code 11.001 and 28.0022H regarding prohibitions on diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI duties, and to authorize the superintendent to submit the required annual certification to the Texas Education Agency on or before September 30th, 2025. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item H, consider approval of the Watchfire Sign LLC proposal for a digital scoreboard for $294,894 and approval of the accompanying budget amendment.
Yes, good evening. How's everybody doing tonight? Good. So yes, it's for a scoreboard that would go at Frank Carter Stadium, that would play, I guess dimension-wise, we could look at it, it is right there, about 28 feet width. The height itself would be roughly somewhere around the 16, about 19.6 inches. So it's pretty much standard to the same size we have now. But with this new scoreboard coming in, we would get the video board that would now be displayed during the actual games, during the actual time that the kids are out there playing, halftime as well for the band. This scoreboard is not just going to be utilized for football. It is going to be utilized for track events. It'll be utilized for band competitions that we now have here currently, year in and year out, because it does come with instant replay as well. So the opportunity so that more kids and the community could gain a better experience during those activities of when they arrive. Same thing for our track when we do host tracks. Same thing for all our field days as well as all our elementaries and our intermediates. We could definitely broadcast the actual track meet as they're up there. There are many other venues that would be utilized there or used during that scoreboard, meaning even graduation. It could be actually used to promote the graduation while it's up there. I guess the biggest thing for us, most importantly, is the outright cost of what that initial deal is. Yes, it is highly, but we have probably set up for a 5-year plan that would give us the advertisements that we could go out and get from our community members. And with that being said, it is a year in and year out advertisement that would continue to draw in and bring back the initial cost and recoup those funds from the beginning. So just like that, with that being said, I believe that we would sell packages that would allow us to do that. We could start out by selling platinum packages. It would be lifetime members. And that way we would not have those boards who have now become outdated, because in that Videotron, you can actually change those ads as the game is even being played. So you would be able to pretty much dissect the board by a quarter or even halfway on the bottom, still display the game as it's happening, plus run the ads the entire time. So those ads itself would recoup and replenish those funds that we initially expended to purchase the scoreboard. So again, we could sell platinum packages. It would allow lifetime advertisements. We could go down to the gold packages that would sell for, say, the yearly advertisement for the year. We could go into a silver and even a bronze package. So that's what we would come together, Ms. Pearson, myself, along with the board, so that we could find a great selling point, I guess I might say, a good amount that would allow us to recapture that money within that 5-year plan. And I know that it's something that the community itself would definitely share interest in, so because we can tell as we have our posters in the beginning of the season, there are plenty of advertisement that goes out in there. Same thing when they sell the actual game flyers before the game. That way they could actually put their children up there. And I know that, like I said, cheerleaders alone, band members alone throughout the competition would definitely be paying to put up there for advertisement. Of course, we would go with the actual bottom of the part of scoreboard in case there were any difficulties, there was any type of something that went wrong with the video board at that particular time. We would still have our digital board on bottom that would allow us to continue to have the game. We do have a 5-year warranty, no matter what, a 2-year service. I think another great initiative that we would definitely spark is that with what we said, this does come with a board itself that would require our IT department to be trained, but I believe this is something that we in the future could get our CTE department to start getting our kids to get into the broadcasting, and would allow them to actually run the boards during the game, actually run the camera systems during the game. Kids that would actually be trying to look at getting into the future of video broadcasting. Yeah, it's a great one, ma'am. You're absolutely right. The video messaging system would definitely display any type of emergencies or anything that might want to be displayed on that video screen. Again, these video screens are meant to remain on. They're not meant to be turned off every time. So it can definitely be displayed for a long period of time. I know I've seen other schools in itself too, for say the seniors or Project Grad. You know, you can actually host or put a video or a movie out there for those kids. It's something to be able to capture those kids in an environment that would keep them safe.
Question? I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Coach Gonzalez, so you'll reach out to businesses. I've seen this in other communities, right? I've seen
Yes,
other
sir.
communities where they advertise, dealerships or vice
Correct.
versa. So you'll come up with the package plan as a platinum, like, $5,000 or $10,000
Yes, sir.
for a year or whatever it might be, and recoup some of that money back. That if we were to approve.
Yes, sir.
we recoup
That
some of
that
money
is the
year
game
after
plan.
year after year, right?
For sure. And with other people who have done it in years past, is that sometimes they even received a large donor that they put, which we do not want, and I'm just speaking out loud, but a large donor that would put their name on the top that we would never be able to get rid of. And so that's kind of what we're trying to avoid. So that way the scoreboard becomes timeless, so that way we can keep it up for many years to come.
Yeah, it's kind of like we do now, right? We have some names there.
Correct.
That those companies no longer here.
No longer
They're
exist.
Still getting advertised.
And they're still being advertised, and we've never taken them down. Of course, within time.
Even if they were like paid like a huge majority of it, you wouldn't want their names to be on there.
And that's why we're saying, like the platinum ones, that we're saying that would be a continuous yearly deal. So that one would be there every time the scoreboard is on. It's going to function. Now, the opportunity with those types of ads is that you can manipulate that scoreboard as the game's going on. So if somebody were to sell, we sold ads for $25, you could say, hey, we're going to broadcast it one time, and now you're broadcasting so many of those $25 sponsorships, because that ability is in that scoreboard. But for sure, the bigger, the more contributions, you would want that name out there.
So it's more for advertising, not necessarily that you want companies to buy it for you, like, right? Because you want it to be continuous.
I think it's going to be the advertisement for the kids, because most of our public and community and our kids alone, and parents, are the ones going to be putting up all those advertisements. Now, if we went out for the bigger company, then those would probably become those lifetime members that we would be asking for an X amount and say, hey, we're going to put you up every single time that scoreboard is on. And this is what it's going to buy you.
Every event.
Every event. Every event.
Question, Kosher,
Sir,
doing all right?
I'm doing fine, sir.
Nice win the other night, man. Congrats to the
Well,
kids
we
and the team.
appreciate
Good
it.
luck
Not,
Friday.
not the best one, but we'll
Yep.
take it.
Hey, you take it. Hey, talk to me about, and I know are there any companies that we know of that would want to invest in this right now?
For
What
sure.
would a platinum deal look like? What would what, gold, silver? Have you put any of those together? Or you got anybody that, can this company help you put
I
some of
mean,
that
I think I
together?
might have come up with some of the ideas, but it's not that I've pitched them to get the actual approval on what we think we want to go with.
Okay.
So I would not want to say those out loud and then have to
got you. I got
backtrack.
you. I got you.
Yes, sir.
Because certainly, I mean, we have a fantastic facility, no doubt about that.
Yes, sir.
And the scoreboard is outdated, that's for sure.
Yes, sir.
But, I would like to see, okay, if you got some ideas on what those, bring those numbers to us, show us.
Yes, sir.
Can we get some people to invest up front?
For sure.
And then, down the road, I'm not, definitely not against this, but I'd like, to see some dollars where we could have folks help us with this cost up front.
The initial
And
cost
take a
instead
little
of.
bite out of what we got here.
Okay.
I'm for
Okay.
it, but I want, if that's a possibility, if we know of some folks out there that are willing to do that,
Yes, sir.
and we certainly will run their ad,
I know folks that would do it.
all year long. This guy
Yeah,
does it.
I mean,
SM Energy.
Yep.
yeah.
I mean, they'll do it. There's people that do it out there.
Absolutely. And I mean, like I said, I mean, I know that we could venture to say, and I would just throw a rough number out, but if we went to a lifetime member, speaking of a company like that, I do not see or just would not try to think that they wouldn't be able to say, hey, here's $20,000 for a lifetime membership of what we're going to do for the 5-year plan, and that would not probably wink an eye for some of those people, and they would definitely go jump in on board. That would be our platinum memberships, and then we could work ourselves down that list and would give them opportunities to do so.
In speaking with this company, what is the timeline to get something like this up and running?
So timeline-wise is, all these parts are made here in the States, so then that meant that they said they could probably have that board up by 2.5 weeks.
Wow.
And then for them to actually come and install would be 1 week.
Wow.
If they could have 5 to 6 days, because all our pier and beams and concrete has already been, they will utilize what we've already paid for in years past. Because it's the same company, Spectrum, would be the same ones that would come in and do that. I think, I agree, and I hear you. I just don't know if going out and being able to sell that to them on a product that is not yet bought,
Right.
that they would somehow be like, well, how am I going to guarantee you're going to get that board up if I only give you 25,000?
Yeah.
Where's the rest of it going to come from
Yeah.
in order to get this bought? Instead of saying, hey, the board is bought, now I want to sell you a platinum package for $20,000. Someone else would say, sure, I think it's there. Why not?
Coach.
Yes, sir.
My thoughts are kind of the same as Mr. Uriega's. When you're gonna make an expense this big, it would be nice, I know it's difficult.
Yes.
To see those commitments
Yes,
ahead of
sir.
time. To see if we got those commitments to support this for the kids. I don't have a problem with the product. The product is amazing. I want the best for our kids.
Mhm.
But if we could see the commitment of those people that would be willing to contribute, that would help us make this decision. Because here recently, I don't know if we've been transparent enough to our community that we're about to face a huge expense with, for example, the schools, the repair of the schools.
Correct.
So to sell this idea, I think it would help. If we said, well, we're getting a great deal, this is only our cost. If this portion is coming in from sponsors, then this is our cost. Then I think it would be easier for the public to see it's a great deal.
For sure. So with that in mind, I would think that more of the long-term, forever lifetime members are the ones that we would definitely want to sell to. Because it's going to be really hard to sell to the ones that'll be like, sure, I'll do it this game, or I'm going to do it for my child for all year long.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, those are going to be of the smaller amounts, so it's going to be hard, and it's going to be relatively every day, every year, they're going to keep buying those ads. But for the lifetime members, I think is what we're kind of expressing to go out and reach, correct? The ones that would be contributing the larger amounts. And I think that would definitely help the decision is what I think I'm understanding.
A few other thoughts coming to mind right now. How could the Athletic Booster Club help you with this?
For sure. I mean, that's something that
Put
we
the
can-
word out. Find some folks that, you know,
For
with those deep pockets that were.
Absolutely,
Okay.
for sure. Those are all the avenues that we would definitely attack. Yes, sir.
And then, when we're talking about money, tell us a little bit about that money that was announced Friday night, the $5,000 from T-Mobile.
For sure.
What is, how do we, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
What's the background behind that?
So that is a program that they took off last year. It is a Friday, 5G, Friday nights, T-Mobile. And that program started last year. And the school that actually won the final $1 million makeover was a school out of Oklahoma.
Wow.
And so what 5G T-Mobile has done on Friday Night Lights is they have approached all the rural school areas and pushed it out. They don't attack the cities because those have more of options with money. And so what they've done is they pushed out that program again, and it looks like it got even bigger. And so this year, I wrote a letter explaining to them some of our needs that we needed, and then we were in the running to win the $5,000. So this week is the last week for the $5,000, and if we continue to, it's a long process as far as for the IT. Mr. Rolando does a great job on that, but we have to post a lot of things and hashtag T-Mobile. And so that's why I had put up signs that were on the walkway for the ones
Yeah.
who went to the game, and it had the QR code there. And so those people, if they keep hashtagging all the school spirit we have, then we have the chance to run and win the $25,000.
25,000.
25,000 would be the next for 45 schools.
But
Yes,
you
sir.
did get the 5,000.
But we did get the
Awesome.
5,000,
Towards the
yes.
athletic program? Where does that money go? Towards the,
I believe Ms. Pearson would have to make that
oh,
decision,
okay.
and
I
not
was
myself.
just curious. I thought, okay, thank you. All right. Well, that's
Yes.
great, though.
Yes.
Good job in that end.
Absolutely.
When
appreciate
we get it, it'll have to come to the school board, so Ms. Diaz, will bring it.
As a
and-
donation,
Yeah, correct. And then Ms. Diaz will bring the budget code that it would be deposited to.
Yes,
Correct.
ma'am. Again, we are well taken care of from the school board and Ms. Pearson, so we do a excellent job when it comes for our kids. I am not, by no means, going to say that we don't do a great job. So regardless, wherever it is that the money goes, it's for the school and it's for the kids, and if it doesn't go back, we are fine. We are
Yeah,
fine, and we appreciate it.
When I heard the announcement, I thought it was geared towards the athletic department. I
It
didn't-
it
I
is,
didn't get towards
it
the
is
whole-
because of what
okay.
I wrote for them, yes,
All
but
right.
it
Well,
it's
great. I mean,
clearly
great-
under, it
great
does not
exposure
bother
for
us.
the school.
For sure, that's what the idea is for. Yes, sir.
Any more questions?
Nope.
Hopefully we win the 25,000 to
That-
go
that-
toward the scoreboard.
Yeah, that would be excellent. So that $1 million one would help to purchase things like that, absolutely. And what I wrote it to was, you know, for our help with the field house. And so that was where I wrote the letter.
I have no doubt by going out like to the community and looking for sponsors that you'll get it. I mean, I think we'll get a big chunk.
I agree with you, Ms. Franco, I agree with you. It's
Because we
just
have
I
the.
believe in
yeah.
getting it now and then pay itself back, you know. I mean, just look at, a great example is the sports complex. How many companies and donors didn't donate to that complex? So there's people out there that want advertisement, and they're from this community. So I think buying it up front now, it'll pay for itself later. I believe that. Because there's people out there, we got a lot of people in this area that likes advertisement, and that's gonna be a lot of advertisement for their companies, or even parents. Even parents, you know, but I
I
think
think
it's.
there's a lot of resources out there that.
Yes.
Yeah,
that-
you know, but it's like Coach said, get it in there, get it in, you can say, okay, we got it, now, here we go, instead of going to them and, well, it's gonna depend on you, we get it. So, I mean, if there's any question with that being said, I make a motion to approve.
I'm sorry, I didn't. Did you make a motion? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Motion made by Jeffrey Ortiz. Do I have a second? I'll second Jeffrey's motion. Motion made by Jeffrey Ortiz, seconded by myself, to approve the watch fire proposal. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Okay. So it's 3-3, so the motion dies.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay.
Thank
sir.
you. Okay, executive session discussion authorized by the Texas Open Meeting Act, Texas Government Code, Section 551.001. Personnel matters, discussion of resignation, retirements, leaves of absence, reassignments, new employment, new personnel position, duties, responsibilities of employees, consider recommendation of CSCISD lead nurse. B, considering the deployment, specific occasions for, or implementation of security personnel or devices, Texas Government Code Section 551.076 and 551.089. Consider approval of personnel to be commissioned as reserve officers for the Carrizo Springs CSISD Police Department by Carrizo Springs CISD Police Department. Swearing in of the Carrizo Springs CISD Chief of Police and authorization to administer oath to officers, Carrizo Springs CISD Police Department. The time is 8:22. We are in executive session. Okay, time is 9:30. We're back from executive session. Executive, possible action in open session for executive session items.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the superintendent's recommendation for the lead nurse, Yarines Gomez Serrano.
Second.
Motion made by Noe Zarate, seconded by Mike Uriegas to approve the recommendation for the CSCISD lead nurse, Yari Gomez Serrano. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carries. B, consider the deployment specific occasions for or implementation of security personnel or devices.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Jeff Ortiz, seconded by Noe Zarate, to approve personnel to be commissioned as reserve officers for the Carrizo Springs CISD Police Department by Carrizo Springs CISD Police Department, and swearing in of the Carrizo Springs CISD Chief of Police and authorization to administer oath to officers, Carrizo Springs CISD Police Department. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carries. Adjourn. Motion. Motion made by Oscar Morones, seconded by Jeff Ortiz to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We are adjourned.